repetition and experience, so that you know, you'll from using other people's rigs, you'll be like, oh, I like it when it's like this. I like it when the rig is like this, or the joints are laid out like this, and that's what we're working with right now. So from the looks of this, it looks like I can rotate this back, not D, E. I can rotate this back on the Y axis a little bit. There we go. That was nice. That was like perfect. Nice. All right, let's move on to the pinky. I'm actually gonna save it right now. Save often, save often, save often. I'm gonna get some water. I'm a little thirsty. All right. All right, so let's get the pinky in the right spot. Same thing with this one. Let's rotate it down to start. Scale this up. And now this looks like we might have to move it, but let's just see what happens. Because this is like it's over really far. You can already tell. Yeah, I think I want to bring this one out a little bit on the Y, and then rotate it down. I can't really see that pivot well. Let's try something else. Let's rotate this. Oh yeah, it needs to be brought down. Let's scale this a little bit more. Always double check. It doesn't hurt to double check. You don't want to be double checking after you already started animating. And even after we get to this point, you're like, oh, I don't like this. Go back to your save file, do that over, and then finalize your setup. But we're just gonna get this through on our first time for now, and then move on to the next part. All right, let me rotate this right. So the texture doesn't fall in the right line. So this is fine though. I think this is a good position for it. All right, let's move this next part down. Let's rotate it. And then we're definitely gonna have to scale this. I think that's where the pivot is. Almost there. Oh, this pinky is strange. So if that's the knuckle for that, I think this is scaled up a little bit too much. Let's go back to this vertex right there, at least. So I'm gonna scale this down a little bit. There we go. So this looks off. I wish that was on a little bit better. It looks like the texture is just off, which means, you know, this row of segments would be for here, 1, 1. This texture should be right here. That means our pivot should be down more, but our knuckle looks correct on the top part. So let's rotate this out the way and see what it looks like. Yeah. Yeah. So we're good. We're good right there. Let's leave that right there. This other pivot looks like it could be fine. I think we need to just, yeah, scale up the pinky a little bit, the tip of the pinky. And then maybe recenter. Yeah, we might need to recenter. We might need to rotate a little bit. I think that's what we're gonna do. Well, we're gonna do it at the top, but let's scale this a little bit right here first, so that it matches better. All right, so let's rotate the top part. We're gonna rotate it on the X axis, which is fine, and then out on the Y. So we can really encompass the finger a little bit. Let's do X a little bit more. That's looking better. And then hit Y again. I think it needs to be more on X. And then Y. That looks pretty good. Do X a little bit more. As you can see, what I'm trying to match up is the flatness of this top part of the nail, how flat that is in relation to where this part is right here. It looks like it's twisted a little bit more over like that. So I want to make sure they kind of look aligned better, and then we'll go on Y. That looks better. That looks more centered. That looks more centered. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Let me rotate it down a little bit more. And then we're gonna move on to the thumb. So it's not taking that long. If we had to do this from scratch, it would take a lot longer though. And then even still, you know, you'd have to check everything to make sure it'll work when you do your export. So that looks good. Let's save. Oh man. All right. Now let's work on our thumb. This is important. So we want to make sure that that's what's talking about with this joint right here. You want to make sure that this really encompasses the part of the hand that you want. When you start skinning this, it's going to be important to make sure that you can get like a nice transition right here. It looks like it goes all the way down to here. I mean, these are all metacarpals when it comes to the palm. But it looks like you have a nice joint that you can play with that's like right here that has like a crazy 360 almost. Or not 360, but it has a higher range of motion than your fingers do. I mean, you can twist your fingers manually, but you can't twist them, you know, on your own unless you're grabbing something. So you want to make sure that that works for you really well. So let's get this thumb going. After that, we just got to do the head, but I wanted to do a simple face setup for this character too. So we'll do that as well. We'll plot out some joints for it and save to make sure that it's working the way we want. But we also can just do a normal setup on here, which is the head, and then always come back to adding the face. But we'll see. Let's do the thumb first. All right. Same thing with the thumb. You're gonna want to have the thumb where it matches where your joints are. So it looks like this first pivot needs to end here. I'm looking at my thumb right quick. This joint needs to go here. So you go back to 1, 2. Yeah, you're gonna want it to be back here. This just pivot. So let's rotate this on our Y axis. And then our Z axis. That's a pretty good spot already for it. That looks pretty good already. This thumb is matching up nice. And I do the same thing for this one. That pivot looks nice already too. And then this one. That's good. I like that. Let's do that like that. That looks pretty good. Maybe we can move up on our Z a little bit. And then rotate this back down. Looks pretty good. Nice. That was a lot quicker. Save. All right. Let's save again. And then let's save an iteration up. That was good. Get this arm saved. So that's 4. You also can do better naming. I'm doing number progression, but you can do better naming. You can do, you know, for example, female base mesh underscore rig underscore version 2 underscore arm, leg, you know, so you have an idea of what you worked on in that file. It'll make it a lot easier, you know, if you're, instead of doing this number hunt, if you need to go back to something. So this is going to be number 4 for me. So I'll save as. And so I save that because I'm about to do the big offsets for the arm. Perfect. All right, it did not break anything. So now what we want to do is we want to go back over here and right click and do create mirror of this module. And we want this to be the right arm. So we're going to do our suffix and hit R and create. So it's going to make everything the same, and then it should put it in position. Perfect. Great. All right. Let's save again. So let's save this as 5. Save scene as 5. So then if something happened, we would have went back to 4. But 5 is going to be one we're going to start saving over. We're going to add the head to this. So all those pivots are pretty good. So let's go back and we're going to add our head. Boop. And we want the head to be also attached to spine 3. So you want to find spine 3 on here. Spine 3, boop, right there, and then click create. Excuse me. All right. Now again, you want to just move this into position. Let's go back to our show hide tool settings button, and let's turn this back to world. So now we're not moving it on the local axes, because if you saw, the local axes would have made us go in this weird diagonal going this way, which would be a nightmare to try to place that appropriately. So we turned it back to world. World is going to give us our Z up, and everything else is going to be much like this gizmo down here, which shows you how the world view is, the world axes view. So let's take this back up to getting the head on the neck, on the shoulders and stuff. So now we're going to move this up. You pretty much want the face and the neck to fit on the character, so like where the chins are and everything. You don't need to have your neck sunken down in here. I think by default, it gives you 2 joints. Number of neck bones, 1. Yeah, let's add, usually you have 2, so you can do stuff like, you know, this, and then you can even go all the way to your shoulder more. So that's like, you can do that with 2 joints. If it's just 1 joint, you're gonna have like just this one, you're gonna have this 1 joint right here, and you're gonna be able to rotate your head still. So you'll be able to do this, all right, limited motion, and then your neck is gonna go like all the way over. There's no in between. So we can add another joint on there, which is what I think we will do. So let's just do 2 neck joints, apply changes. All right, so now you have 2 neck joints, 1, 2. Let's go back and move this down. Try to match the head on here. Over where the pivot will be. I think you can scale this down. That looks pretty good. It just needs to fit on the head correctly, or fit around the face correctly. You can probably do it like that. Looks pretty good. Let's see if we rotate this, what that would look like. That's not a bad pivot. That's right underneath the jawline. All right, cool. So what I was save, do bake offsets on the right arm too. Let's do bake offsets on the right arm. Let's do bake offsets on the head. All right, let's save. So that's pretty much it right there. If we wanted to